Hello, class. It's Mark Gavor. Uh, Welcome to Capstone, your last MBA class for most of you. And notice that I have a keystone, capstone kind of graphic here. Oh, clever of me, I guess. Uh, let's go through the syllabus a bit. My office hours, the dates of the class, which are basically from this weekend until May 5th. These are all the prerequisites for this class. That's why it's like a capstone. You have to kind of theoretically bring it all together. This is my second time teaching it, and I was kind of pulled in for reasons some of you might know and reasons I probably don't want to talk about because this is an extra double overload for me. And but I think we've got a model here that kind of works. So there's kind of an outline of the things we do. Let's look at it this way. As you might be used to normally with the classes that I teach, it's some discussion. I put approximately here, approximately 200 points, approximately once a week, but in the first week there's already like 3, and of differing point values. So it's approximately 200, and there'll be 3 papers, not 4. I think I might do an optional 4th, but I'll leave that there, and it says that down here. But for 150 points. So 350 points of this 910 are easy points, easier points. People tend to get most of them. Then we have this simulation that we're going to run called a capstone simulation from a company called CapSim. We're going to have 4 trial rounds at 15 points each, which will add up to about 60 points. And I actually have some tutorials that I'm going to give points for, which are participation, and it should be another 45 points probably. Simulation rounds, there's 8 of them at 50 points each. This is where you actually compete against teams to see how well you do. And the way that is graded is they take the top team, they get 100, and whatever percentage you get of their score, that's a score for your team and everybody on it. So this is really merit, objective-based grade. There's no subjectivity on my part. Oh, you tried hard, but you only got 50%. Well, if you only get 50%, you get 25 points. So it's a competition. It's supposed to simulate 8 years of running a business. We have 4 trial rounds as your team gets their sea legs and learns how to operate as a team and make decisions together. And then we have 8 real rounds. Then, as our capstone, there's a MBA exam called the Peregrine exam that the company that accredits us, the accrediting agency, sponsors this Peregrine exam. And you take it with all other MBA students, and you get a percentile score of all other MBAs that have taken the test. It's kind of interesting in that it tells you where you stand relative to all MBA grads that have taken this test. And it also highlights areas that you could be weak in. And as you go forth, might be things that you want to further shore up if that's important to you. Also, we will use it at North Park for curriculum evaluation. So out of this, we have 60, 460, 560, maybe 700 points, including their trials, are all based on either the simulation or this exam. And like I said, your grade is your grade. What you did as a team is your grade, your score on the exam is your grade, and however that adds up. So if you want an A, you better motivate your team and do well, and you better kind of shore up a little bit for the Peregrine exam. I think there's some practice questions you can play with, but in generally there's not that much prep for it. We did very well last semester. I think people did okay. So that's basically the course in a nutshell. If we go home, and I like to look at this week view more than anything else, the CapSim Corners Capstone Team Member Guide. That's also on their website, but that's a book that if you're interested in doing very well, you should read that guide cover to cover. There's an HBR article on how leaders create and use networks. Next, you want to register for the simulation. You have to do that by Tuesday of this first week. It's $54, and that's the only charge in the class. The Peregrine exam, the SBMN pays for. So you go there, you click on this, it takes you to their website, and you give your name and pay your $54, and you're in. There are 3 tutorials: introductory lesson quiz, rehearsal simulation, and situation analysis. So if I were to click on that, and I get, of course, a professor view, but if I log into a team, and here's the team: Andrews, Baldwin, Chester, Digby, Erie, Ferris. You can't change the names because it's just basically A, B, C, D, E, F. And let's log into Andrews, just for the heck of it. Here's the tutorials. You probably want to do those the first week to get familiar with the simulation. Also, there are other things you can look at. Help and support. Gives you an online guide, PDF you can download, which we have. It's also in a couple different languages. And I think there's other things you can look at here. So if you go to Getting Started, there's an introductory lesson. Then you take the quiz on that. And if you participate, I think I'll give you the percent you did right. And I think you should get it all right, actually. And here's something, the introductory lesson. Here's the guide, industry conditions report, which you probably want to look at, the rehearsal tutorial that we talked about, the capstone courier, which tells you the performance of all the teams together. So you can see how your team have done. Join a team, which I'm going to probably enter those for you, or I'll show you how we're going to pick our teams. And situation analysis. So do that by Tuesday. Do these simulations by the end of the week. So I got the 3 simulations there. There's 15 points each. I didn't obviously assign points to this one yet. I will change that. Then we have simulation practice round number 1 on Thursday of this first week. 15 points. So you got to get your team together and do it. We have 3 discussions. One is introduce yourself, which is a standard thing that we all do in my courses. The networking, which read that HBR article and then react to that. So by Wednesday or Thursday, you should respond, and then subsequent posts of the other for 5 points each, adding up to 25 for this one. So if you've had my courses before, you kind of know the drill here. And then it's a team selection. And I'm going to let you pick teams. There's 6 teams. Here's the name of them. Andrews, Baldwin, and Chester will each have 6 people on it. Digby, Erie, and Ferris will have 5. So in the threads below, choose your teams you want to be on. One person can post for all if you like. I will add people to teams myself if you miss the deadline, which is by noon of Tuesday, week 1. You will get 0 points of this 15-point exercise. These teams will be the basis for the simulation, as well as any group papers or discussion, which there will be a few. So if you want to sign up, sign up. I do reserve the right if some teams seem overloaded or if you've gone to 8 or 10, I will pick 3 people and move them to a team that needs it. If you haven't signed up, by Tuesday at noon, I will assign you to teams myself. So do the team sign up here, and I will then enter the teams on on the simulation. I will assign them there. Then there's a paper. It's not due week 1, thankfully. It's due the end of week 2, which is be after 3 practice rounds of the simulation, but I basically want to see how your team is going to be organized. And I need to edit this a bit too because it's not accurate right now. It's based on the last course. You could choose a team leader and assign roles. I think maybe this year I'm going to suggest that whatever roles you decide for the practice round, every round they have to change. So you have a different team leader and you have different roles. But the key in this simulation is to make sure you hit the dates and everybody's done whatever they're supposed to do. If not, you'll end up having to post with incomplete information or missing a post, in which you'll basically, your company will suffer tremendously and you'll be playing catch up the rest of the round. So it's paramount that your team is focused and into this. If you want to read about the CAPSIM simulation other than the user's guide, there's a lot of YouTube and other resources online, not written by CAPSIM, but other people that have played the simulation with guides, their advice on how to do things. So you've got to sort through all this and figure out kind of how to do it. So this is a team building and company running skill. Each round is a year of company performance. So you set some forecasts, you set some objectives, you launch some new products. Basically, you're a company that makes semiconductors, and it was split because of legal reasons. It was split into, it was a monopoly perhaps, and it was broken into 6 equally sized companies all making the same product. Then have at it, compete against each other. So I want you to do this as well. So that's basically what week 1 is going to be about. And then we'll get into week 2. I'll put another video up about that. Well, thank you very much. I look forward to this class and expect more communication from me as this week opens up. Thank you.